Angela. That's actually quite a hard role being a grammarian or the art counter, because you have to listen to everybody's speeches. And I always feel a bit cheated when I'm doing it, because you're listening so much for the grammatical good things and not so good things, and the ers and the ums, that you miss out on content. Do you find that, Angela?
Yes, I do. I was sort of involved in the speech.
Yes.
Well, I'm not meant to be doing this, I'm meant to be listening more.
Yes, and again it teaches you to concentrate and those listening skills, so well done. And now, we normally have somebody sitting at the back who is what we call our general evaluator. And the general evaluator tells us all about the whole meeting, how they think we started, the general ambience of the evening, the club, and they evaluate anybody who hasn't been evaluated, like the evaluators, like the Toastmaster, like the President. Well, our GE unfortunately had to step down at the last minute, so I thought actually we'd do something a little bit different tonight. We'd have an open evaluation. Now in an open evaluation, you all get the opportunity to say what you thought went well, what you think perhaps you might like us to do differently, and again to cheer us on a positive note when we leave. So let's start on what you think you liked about this evening, and this is your opportunity to speak.
I really like the way we did the people topics. We've never done it before like this, at least when I was in the meeting, and I really like the fact that we had the same question and we got different perspectives from everybody, so that's something I really enjoyed.
Thank you. It's good to try these things, because that's the good thing about Toastmasters. You try things, and they may work or they may not work, but it's an opportunity you learn by doing, so it's an opportunity to try things, to be brave, to do things differently. Are you timing me, by the way, adding for 6 minutes for GE for our open evaluation? Thank you. David.
I like the very clever, creative and subtle use of objects to make the room look like a very professional meeting. Like the communication chart. Just very simple, like a ribbon and a clipboard, but saying so much. And the fact that the ribbons are beautifully stuck up on the wall, the our club banner is there, the word of the day is there, and that's thanks to Sina, as Sergeant Hans. Now Sina's going to start doing this role at the end of June. So if there's any budding artists and creative people and people good at logistics, we'll be very happy to come make the room look so good. And such a pleasure to be a Toastmasters club, and please think now and think about how you can help the club to develop and keep and maybe even surpass. Well, these are hard acts to follow.
I agree, and you can take something plain and make it beautiful, and you've obviously got a skill, Sina.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'd just like to reiterate what he said.
So well done, can we go?
Yes, I love the branding in the room, but I just wanted to flag the fact that I was living in Ghana for 6 years, and I was part of Toastmasters in Ghana for a few months, and the format is very different. The meetings there run for no more than an hour. This ran on for much longer, which is when you told me to move my car, because we did more than 3 hours, I was shocked. But what the point I'm trying to make is that I like the pace, the fact that you've got a longer period of time for people to deliver their speech in a timely fashion, and for there to be some more interaction. I thought it was a bit rushed, the way we kept, the format in Ghana. So yes, I enjoyed it.
It's always good to get feedback from people who've been to other clubs. So thank you, Cass, very much. Martin.
Yes. I like the way that you, Coralie, conducted the meeting from the point of view of being a Toastmaster. You had very positive, relaxed style, and the way that you linked between everything, it was quite a thoughtful way, so we didn't just move at the beginning of the meeting. you actually whetted our appetite by describing the agenda, and you found links between the items, because actually when the agenda is prepared, it's just everybody coming up with their own thing, but you presented the meeting to us and found ways of linking all the different things. So, you know, now we're having voice, now we're having movement, and then the play will combine the two. And then as the speeches were happening, you didn't just move to the next item as, you know, without a connection. You paused and reflected on what we had just seen, and then you moved us to the next part of the meeting, which then meant that we felt that it was all connected and it was all part of a larger whole.
Thank you, Will. That's what I tried to do, so I'm pleased it was successful. Thank you. And I've only managed it with practicing a lot, I can assure you. I wouldn't have done this 6-7 years ago. I wouldn't have come up here 6-7 years ago. See you.
I love the fact that our cameraman performed his duties so quietly.
Is that a commend or a recommend?
All of them.
Okay.
Man.
Oh,
Thank you.
we're in the mutual admiration society. I think we must have some commends, what we could do. Recommends, that's the one, differently. David.
Yes. My first recommendation, especially to Coralie on this occasion, is the difference, and this is one for the grammarian as well, any grammarian and any evaluator. A recommend is a verb. You don't. That is not a recommendation is a noun. So you give a recommendation and you recommend somebody. So while we're trying to, I know English is changing always, but we are trying to do it proper like. So,
Like what I do.
like what you do. So, but also to every evaluator ever as well. When you are commending, when you're saying all the good things about the speech, you talk to the audience, because we get that. And when you're specifically recommending, like if I'm recommending to Coralie that you don't use recommend, you use recommendation, then you should speak to the person that you're recommending to or commending. So commending, speak to the audience, recommending, speak to your subject. And I think that's, get people's names right, whoever's doing it. I haven't got a specific example, but there'll be one or two. I think because people's names are really important, and especially in a world where we have so many different cultures, just taking that little bit of time to listen. Where does the accent go? How do they want to be named? I know many people just, call me whatever, but it's really important.
Very important. Thank you, I stand corrected, Mike.
Toastmaster, I have a constructive suggestion. We, in the room, all of us evaluate speeches on these pieces of paper. Strangely, we don't invite ourselves to evaluate the evaluations in the same way. And I think it's something that our committee should look at and consider seriously. I tried it myself this evening, and I didn't do it for Peter and for Jill because they're far too good. But for Sonia and Ade, I had some nice little thoughts. I enjoyed my first thought for Ade, which was that you yourself need to speak more slowly. having suggested that Steffi should. Ideally, you need at least two ideally three good, useful suggestions that the person you're evaluating can really benefit from. Then you're contributing to that speaker. So don't be shy to find them, search them. And if they're not coming naturally to you, really search until you come up to this platform with them. You gave a lovely in-summary at the end. And whether you use the word in summary or as Jill did in conclusion, something that signals the rest of the room that you're summing up what you've said, and then you have a really great evaluation. Sonia, same thing I say to you every time, speak from the stomach, for goodness sake. Bring out this voice that I know is in there somewhere. I really want to hear it. One day you're going to come up here and you're going to surprise us. Move the lectern to the side. Even if you're using notes, you can put the lectern over there and you can look at your notes and then speak to them. Jill does that very well. Because, I wrote it out here, we want to see you. You gave good suggestions, and that was excellent, and a nice, tidy ending. But you didn't use the phrase, you didn't signal to us in summary at the end, and had you done so, it would have been an even greater evaluation.
There's been a couple of improvisations today, so one of them was my fault, so I have to say sorry to Ade, and well covered for me because I was late coming in. So he did 2 jobs today, which was be the evaluator for Steffi and also timekeeper. So that was great. And this is another improvisation. So this is a great idea. I think we should have more of this in terms of sort of feedback from everybody else, and that's worked really well.
Things grow, I think, out of open evaluations. I think things grow, don't they? So thank you, Mike, for that, and thank you, management, as well. Thank you. The final word. Let's end on a positive note.
Talking off today. So I'd like to have a recommendation for your good self.
Yes.
Because we have still 2 members in the hall that they haven't speak.
Right.
I want to make some excuses. I want to ask you to make some excuses for them to come here and say a few words.
Right. And who hasn't spoken? Oh! No.
One line.
No.
You can get them in one line.
Oh, no, they guess when the president
Okay.
invites them,
Right,
they
okay.
do get to speak.
All right.
So,
The members haven't. He's saying the members haven't spoken.
Madam Toastmaster, we committed to evaluate Denise. Somebody should evaluate Denise.
I thought you did.
No, I didn't. I admitted.
No, Jill did.
No, it didn't.
Jill gave you a recommendation.
Oh, you did.
Use me or not? Evaluation's
I'm used to being ignored.
So who hasn't spoken?
Well, I know.
Who's a member?
I spoke last week to introduce myself.
I should say I'm going to pass the burden slightly because my understanding is that table topics master is supposed to pick on people who haven't spoken.
Which I did.
Sharon? You did. So perhaps we need to done table topics. I do apologise. Would you like to do a 2-minute table topic?
No, it's fine, thank you.
Can we end on one big positive note? Make us all want to come back again.
A positive.
Yes, I think.
Save me.
yes.
Save HOD from
Yes,
destruction.
I think that the atmosphere once again has been very positive, and I think that every speaker who's come up here will have felt supported, and I think that's one of the great strengths of coming to this club, which perhaps we don't always notice because we come every week, but we should at least be grateful.
Thank you. Now brings us to the awards times, and I need some names and awards. Please help. Where am
I was going to put them in an envelope, but I'm going to give you the wrong one, so this is a...
I can't think what you're thinking of.
Oh, yes, I'm actually
We've got a camera.
yeah.
We will start with our best table topic. Speaker, number please, and our best table topic speaker goes to Mike.
Come this way.
Should we dance? That's for Steffi.
Yeah, as long as nobody's watching. Sorry, mate, as if nobody's watching. The table topic is upside down. No, It's either my glasses or the camera itself.
You've got 2 to 3 minutes, David.
Okay.
Thank you.
The best evaluator goes to Jill.
Can I just use the photo from every other week?
Yeah.
Jill.
Photoshop me in, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Oh, this is so exciting. And the best speaker goes to Tony.
Okay, look at me. It's lovely. Fantastic.
It's very hard tonight because they were all so good.
In fact, when you, not to diminish anybody's pleasure at winning or success, sometimes when you do the counting, it can be one or, between everybody gets a vote, so you're all winners.
They were all
All
Yeah.
winners.
new members.
They're not here
There
tonight.
are 2 new members, but unfortunately,
Oh,
they're
they're here,
Right,
yes.
not here at the moment. So we'll do their own.
Thank you. At this point in time, it just ends for me to say thank you very much. That ends my role as Toastmaster Evening, and I hand back to our president.